Well, my name's John Coyne, and I'm the director of SGIS, and it's a division within the Department of Safeguards in the IAEA. And amongst other things, we're running this project called Mosaic, which is the modernization of the software used in the Safeguards Department. And it's a large, exciting project with about 110 contractors as well as about 80 staff members. Well, Mosaic started back in 2012 or so. And at that time, there were several old systems that were in use by Safeguards to really get their work done. And this software had been developed over many years, over a very long period of time, but it was really showing its age. Because a lot of the systems were independent of one another, and so trying to think that you could integrate the data together was really next to impossible, and in some cases, it actually wasn't possible. It ended up being that we had a very inefficient use of the resources within the department, both in terms of the software being developed, being maintained, but also in terms of the users themselves, because there was a lot of stovepiping going on, and so it was a very manual, tedious process. And also, since a lot of it was based on older software, there was a lot of legacy systems that were in existence, and so if in certain places there was commercial software that was underlined that needed to be updated, sometimes it wasn't even possible to do that anymore. The rationale for Mosaic was really to try to overcome some of those problems, because there were things like the data integration, which really wasn't possible. We wanted to be able to integrate data from different sources very easily, rather than having to spend a lot of time putting things back together. And we also wanted to improve the efficiencies, not just of the software developers and maintainers, but also of the users themselves. And so we wanted to hopefully create systems that look like they kind of fit together and they were designed together. And I think we've gone a very far way in achieving that. Well, Mosaic itself is composed of many different software development projects, which are somewhat independently running. And so whenever the whole project plan was created initially, the first steps were to move off of the mainframe, and so to concentrate initially on those pieces of software so that they could run in a new environment. It's not just an IT project, but it's very much involving the user community. And for every one of these projects, we have somebody called the product owner who comes from the user community, and they really have a lot of power and control in the way in which the software is being created. And we also work in a very agile development process, and so if there are changes or adjustments along the way in the software, there almost always is, we're able to react to that. And so it's very good in the sense that it's the users who have a very strong determination on what the final product is. And I think as a consequence of that, we have pretty good acceptance of what we have been able to deliver. It's one thing to develop a wonderful piece of software that 3 people can use. It's another one if 300 people can use it. And so I think that that's another measure of the success, to ensure that we can bring everybody in the department together, not just in kind of the existing traditional systems, but also in some of these new ones where we're trying to capture some ideas that can be used more systematically, but also to be able to see things in a broader context than was done previously. And without sort of an agile process, we would not be where we are. And it's so great to work in an environment where this is not just supported, but encouraged, and encouraged to deliver something. And I think that's the other important thing about Mosaic. It's the objective of Mosaic is to deliver the best quality working software for the department so that they can get their done in the most efficient way. And it's not to create bureaucracies. It's not to create papers that are going to die. It's to create great software. And I think everybody gets that message. And it's wonderful.